Got a Roadrunner out here. Nice big one too. Hope he gets a few snakes. We roam around checking things out. Check it out on Andy's ramp. Running right at me, doesn't even know I'm taking his picture. Beep beep. Watch out for Wile E. Coyote. Haven't seen any of those around in a couple of years now. He's looking for something to eat. I hate to go out there and scare him, but I want to get today's video done. So he's going to take off running as soon as I open the door. So let's do that. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And I'll tell you what, I think Fed Up ought to hire a couple of those Roadrunners to deliver packages, because they didn't deliver again today. How do you like that? And guess what? I figured out why. Apparently, the idiots, even though they have specific instructions not to use Apple Maps, use Google Maps, because Apple Maps, for some reason, takes the letter I out of the name of my street address and directs them to another address with the I out of the spelling. So from Diana to Dana, it sends them to Dana instead of Diana. And the drivers are too stupid to realize that there's a misspelling there and something's wrong. So that's what's going on. So I contacted Apple Maps and made a correction on the address, but it hasn't gone through yet. And then I contacted FedEx again, and I talked to two different people, and I said, you've got to tell the drivers to use Google Maps, not Apple Maps. They'll go to a different place 26 miles from here. It's a completely different place. And they said, yes, we've got that, no problem. Well, again, same thing. We attempted delivery, but, oh, you bunch of dumb idiots. You know, it reminds me of a couple of sayings, you know, blind leading the blind. How about stupid teaching the stupid? It just irritates the crap out of me that they're doing this. So guess what? I get a notice that, oh, don't worry, we'll deliver it next Tuesday. Yeah, 2 weeks after I order it, well, I contacted the seller, and I told the seller, get a hold of them and tell them that you're dissatisfied with their service and your customer is pissed off and going to give you a bad review. And he did. He contacted them, and they said, oh, we'll deliver it on Tuesday next week. No, I didn't order it with 2-week delivery. I could have bought one in town here for $20 more and had it the next day. Oh my God. You know what? This is ridiculous. It's irritating, and it's pissing me off. Anyway, sorry everybody, but I had to let that out because boy was that boiling inside of me. I climbed back inside the tote koozie to cool off after I poured this concrete slab, and guess what? The water started boiling again. So anyway, here we go. I'm sorry. I did promise I would put the camera tripod out here to do this, but after dealing with it all day, I had to get this poured because I got to get this rack up. I've got another controller that my friend Andy gave me, and I can make that work temporarily. Right now, where I've got the panel set temporarily leaned up against the cabin, they only get sun in the morning. So I'm losing all day's electricity because they're not in the sun all day. So anyway, what I'm doing here is I've got this set up so I can set my rack on it within a day or so. The little eye bolts down there, because what I do is I put these guy wires that come from the corners like this that go down and back up again, and then I've got a turnbuckle on the bottom so I can adjust the tension. And what that does is it keeps these things from flapping in the wind, because they are pretty big. Now this one's going to be even bigger. Now the reason I moved this out a little bit was because later in the year, when the winter comes around, the sun actually moves over a little bit, and then I get shade from the propane shed and the containers and all of that, and I want to have light on these as long as possible, so I moved them out a little further. Now these sets here are going to end up getting moved, because I'm not going to be using those over here anymore. These are all the 100 watt panels, and I'm going to be using those up there by the water tank for a water pump that'll pump water down to the cabin instead of sucking. I got the pump inside the cabin and it sucks it in, like I said. So I'd rather have it pushing it down from up there than pulling it from this end. And it'll give me a lot more water pressure and so forth and so on. And then my whole cabin will be pressurized instead of just a few areas that I pressurized when I built it. You know, like the bathroom, the shower, toilet, kitchen sink. But my hose bibs coming outside the cabin are gravity feed. They're not pressurized. So I want to get those pressurized too. And then my outside sink over there is pressurized. So anyway, that's where we stand right now. So I got this set up and I got my poles in place, and now I made my center marks on the pole, measured across, and it's 33 1/4. Excuse me. And then I will go inside the garage and I'll weld the L brackets right onto the rack. And then when I bring the rack out here, if I stand it up on the front side, the L brackets will be in line with the bolts. I just have to slide them in and then tilt it up. And then I've got to bring my welder out here, and I got to weld 2 supports on the posts here down lower, and then have angle supports going up so it keeps it from rocking up and down. And those have 2 settings on them, one for summer, one for winter, because like I said, right now I'm facing east, and you can see my shadow is pointing. I'm facing east, so the shadow is pointing east because the sun is in the west. So the way I want to set this up is so that in this time of the year, I can flatten these panels out like I did this, so that the sun stays on them, right over them all day long. So they're not actually totally flat. They tilt slightly. And that's just about right, because when I set my pole in the ground to check the angle of the sun, that's the angle it gives me. I think I've explained that in other videos. For those of you who missed that, what it is you take a straight post like this, okay? You wait until midday when the sun is directly overhead, and you're facing directly south. And then on the back side, you'll see the shadow cast by the post. Okay, so if you lean a straight edge from the top of your post down to the top of the shadow, the extent of the shadow, that angle is the exact angle that you would like to have your panels facing at to collect the best sun. Okay, so this time of year, when the sun is right up here, almost directly overhead, this shadow hardly even reaches the edge of this concrete slab. I know that because I've seen it on the other ones. So my angle is almost straight up. It's just a slight angle like that. Oh, the girls are calling me for some reason. I think they saw that Roadrunner and they think it's a relative. Anyway, that's all I have for today, everybody. I'm going to go back inside, have a cold beer, relax, try to extinguish my fuse because it doesn't look like I'm going to be getting my midnight controller until next week because of Fed Up. Bunch of jerks. Stupid. Leading stupid. Oh my God. How can a company like that stay in business? And you know, the last two people, after I contacted the CEO, the last two people were very polite. And the guy today said, oh, well, let me get off the phone because I've got this thing all set up and we're going to get that thing out to you today. Well, guess what? It's after delivery time and it's not here. So I'll bet you anything, the new delivery driver, that they switched it to his truck and said, get this out to him right now, get it out today. I'll bet you he looked it up on Apple Maps and went to the wrong place. Idiot. Oh my God. So anyway, that's all there is, everybody. Thanks for listening to me rant. Thanks for joining me on this episode. I'll try to be more friendly and exuberating on my videos in the future. I just got to get past this idiotic episode. And from now on, whenever I have anybody that I buy something from, I'm going to contact the seller first and say, if you use FedEx, don't bother sending it. I'll buy from someone else. So that's all there is to it. G-Bear signing off.